Hello everybody, this is Banerjee and I've come all the way from Dallas to Maryland near Washington DC, and look who I have today with me. It's a very good friend, a very dear friend, Tanusree Ghosh, who is an author and activist. She's a corporate persona as well. She has come all the way from Phoenix, Arizona. And we are here to attend a literary fest or conference here at Meenakshi Mohan's residence, which we are going to attend very soon today. And just before going, I thought in our hotel, in a very cozy atmosphere, I thought I would have a very heart-to-heart chat and a candid conversation with Tanushree about her writing journey, her activism, her corporate life, and all that she does for herself and the community, and about her gender rights as well. So Tanushree, welcome, and it is a great pleasure and honor to have you on board. And since we have been friends for like the past 10 years,
10 years
believe,
plus, yeah.
Because it all happened with Defined Dreams, the Tale of Everyday Divas, where the book which myself and Riti Chatterjee Bose, a very dear friend again, we curated and edited, and there we had a short story of yours which was very unique and inspiring. And from then on till today, it's like a decade of our friendship, right?
Absolutely.
But we have never met in person.
This is the first time we are meeting.
Virtually, but we never had the opportunity to meet face to face. This is the first time for which it's all like the universe conspired to make it happen, right? And so let's start our heart-to-heart conversation with you. Tell me about like the beginning of your writing journey. What inspired you to pick up the pen for social causes? Was it only a literary exercise, or was it a conscious social deliberation for you? When did it happen, in school or beyond? Just tell me your journey.
It was neither, really. It was definitely not a literary exercise at all. It was more like, as I was going through in childhood, wanting to write was my way of like telling what is going on with me, or life. I always saw stories in everything. I still do. I observe people and I think like, okay, this, even two-person talking, I immediately form like, two people talking. That's both like a blessing and a curse. So
that's a blessing and a curse for all of us writers.
Exactly. So that's how it started. I always wanted to write, but obviously I pursued science, and then I ended up in the corp world.
And what did you study in college?
I studied chemistry. I have a PhD in chemistry. So I came to the US and did my PhD from Cornell, and then I joined the tech sector. As of today, I work for Intel, but
that's like a very diverse journey, like from
very different,
very different from the field that you work to the field in which you write. It's like so diverse.
Correct, absolutely. But that's the beauty. You can do many different things in today's world if you want to. We don't have to be unilateral. So, in terms of the journey, my uncle was a great storyteller. He has passed since, but he used to write a lot. He used to be like a freelance journalist. He was people very close to him, a group of friends, they used to work for Ajkal, and they had founded a newspaper called Sonar Bangla long time back.
So he used to write in Bengali, right?
Bengali, yes, primarily.
And you are from Kolkata?
I am from Kolkata, born and brought up in Kolkata, So that is where it started really, but then I always wanted to write, never found any time to like pursue it in a way that is systemic, right? Because my world was so different.
Education was in a different
Education
field.
And everything is so different. But really, I think at some point after my daughter was born, and I have spoken in some talks about it, I realized that I have to find times for other things that I want to do.
That's how we all survive.
Correct. Because the thing is, I wanted to find a non-profit. I wanted to, write, and I wanted to publish articles, not necessarily in any platform, or, at that time I didn't know traditional versus otherwise, and maybe that didn't even exist. But I always wanted to make sure that I put stuff out there. But
so you mean like written material?
Written material. I'd say the issue is that even when I was doing PhD, in retrospect, it looks like I had a lot of time. Why didn't I start then? But when you are in that, you always feel like, okay, I will do this sometime later, right? Okay, fine. Now I have to finish my PhD maybe after I get a job. Okay, ma'am, job is just new, and maybe after I get my first promotion, okay.
So that's how the procrastination happens.
Exactly.
With us.
So I just decided at some point that no, now is the right time to start. And that's how I started. You were a big part of my starting journey, by the way. I met Lopa. Really, Lopa was connected to me by Shavona, who I met in a...
Shavona Roy Chaudhary is a novelist. She's a very good mutual friend for both of us.
Yes, exactly.
From Houston.
And by that time I'm living in Phoenix. I moved from upstate New York. I met Shavona at a New York conference, writers conference. She connected me to Lopa, and at that time I had also pitched an article to Huffington Post. And that time it was very difficult to get into Huffington Post. And
it still is, right?
I don't know what the model is today. Maybe it has now changed to the Huff Post, but at that time it was very, very hard. But the article was accepted. It fortunately or unfortunately became viral because it got a lot of love and a lot of hate. It was about gender safety in India.
That's a very sensitive issue.
Very sensitive issue. It was picked up by Yahoo News, and it was right after the Delhi gang rape. Actually, that's how I had written it, right? The Nirbhaya. And that's the same time I decided to start my non-profit also.
Yeah, so, tell me about your non-profit, like Her Rights.
Yes.
You do multiple things at the same time. I'm in awe how you manage your corporate job, your activism, your writing. Tell me something about your activism, your organization.
So just to finish up the previous thought, that's how I started, and that's when you connected me to Redomania, and then from there we started getting published in the different forums and so on.
Yes.
And then from there I published with Sage later, and then anthologies, and then again with Redomania, and then mostly I wrote for Women's Web, many different platforms.
Women's Web I know very well because I've published there
Tribune,
as well.
Tribune. Now I have done a few articles and more are coming for Where, and I love free platforms like Youth Kawas. I publish poetry also in many places. So you were a big part of the start. That's the point.
That's so heartening to know.
It all has to
way responsible in a very small way.
Oh, absolutely. Defined dreams happened because of you, and the rest
it's not
happened
only just
because
me.
of
It was like Riti and my dream.
Yes, but for me, it was you reaching out to me saying, "Hey, would you participate?" And then obviously Redomania gave an opportunity and so on. But from there, now you asked about the gender justice or the gender parity organization. So Her Rights is my the non-profit I founded. We have a small board. I'm now the chair of the board. We do quite a few projects. For example, this year we are planning a project with India on corporate social responsibility.
Oh, wow.
We are collaborating with...
And you are doing it like all the way from here?
From here. Yes. And then we have a project with Herat from Afghanistan, which is basically a discrete organization working on Afghan girls' education. We have a project called the Leadership Initiative, which is women's education and empowerment for leadership in the US. I will be back in DC again in 2 weeks for another work with Take the Lead. But the idea of Her Rights is doing social justice through network action. You cannot do everything alone, but you can do a lot as a connector,
as a collective,
and we can be the connector. We can be the connector as a pass-through for funds. We can be the connector as connecting the right people to the right help. We can be a connector by collaborating and bringing together different organizations behind an idea. So that's the idea of Her Rights. I founded it after the Delhi case because when I looked into gender rights, I was always bothered growing up in India. Even today this is very true.
Big
sometimes when you read the social media comments on anything, right? Nowadays it bigs like, there were 2 murders that happened of men and maybe a couple of...
I know, I've been through those news.
Not to minimize anything, it's always devastating, but suicides and stuff. But there are thousands of statistics like this on domestic violence and women's death. But if you go and read social media comments, it would be like, oh, girls' education and empowerment is the reason why marriage is not working. Because women are not...
It's a skewed perception as well.
Even if it is true, why would you want people to be forced to live in a situation?
Exactly.
Why
and
would
when it becomes such a big reality.
If they are not happy or if their life is not equivalent in terms of dignity, respect and safety, then isn't it a good thing that they don't want to live that life anymore?
Exactly.
So then what you have to fix
in today's scenario.
Then what you have to fix is lot of counseling in a mutual state of accountability that is needed and adjustment that's needed. But coming back, I digressed, but Her Rights therefore is very close to my heart because it works with bringing equal representation of women at different fronts. and that can be through supporting causes, victim rehabilitation, policy level intervention, and just in general a lot of work to keep on making sure that girls are represented in equal numbers in all the way through, from school to college, through universities, through any kind of work, whether corporate, non-corporate, self that they choose to do, to politics and everywhere, right? So that's the goal, and that's the activism work there.
And that's a huge responsibility, I'm sure.
It is, but you asked, like, how to find time. So first of all, I always get asked this, but there are many people who are doing much more. So I feel like you always have to be very creative with time. That if
time management is of essence.
If you want to do something, you will find time. Like when I take my daughter to gymnastic class, I'm always writing while she's doing it.
It's your passion which keeps you going.
Correct. And then, like, when I decided that I want to find a non-profit, and my daughter was born, because she was so young and I used to love only watching crime thrillers and stuff, I didn't watch TV anymore. And I found that, wow, that has like saved immense amount of time in my life. Because
I wish we all could have done that.
So what happened was, like, instead of watching TV, I would have my daughter play by me and pay attention to her from time to time, and I could build websites for my non-profit or my writing.
And that was what I was coming to, like your Thoughts and Rights is a part of Her Rights, because it's a digital initiative in the form of a website.
Thoughts and Rights is my personal website. I have connected Her Rights through this, because when I was starting this more as a brand, if you will. One is pure activism on a very focused cause, which is Her Rights. Another is broader activism, meaning the causes are any and all, but through the mode of writing and literature. So that's why, those are, and names are like completely my brainchild, and I guess that's the long answer to your very short question.
And I want to also ask you something about your recent books, publications, for which you are here in the first place. We are here in Washington, D.C., in Maryland, to represent our books, our writing journey, our recent publications. So tell me about your recent works. What have you done? One book was published by Sage, which is called like
Beyond
Hashtag Me Too. And the other one is Queer Chronicles, which you have brought today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just tell me about these two recent publications.
I have only this one with me, because I was reading or practicing for what I would do in the evening event for my speech. So I think obviously it's showing up as a mirror image, but this one is Queer Chronicles, Ridomania Publishing. Now this is a short story collection, fictional story collection that looks into LGBTQIA plus experiences. It deals with a lot of the different myths and confusions, and from very small issues, not necessarily small as in these are not important or insignificant,
but
issues that come up
that
in
hit
like
us.
To bigger questions like right to property, marriage, existence, and stuff like that, explored through fiction. Right? Now, obviously, with what's going on in this world right now, and just today I was working on a piece for WARE on mental health for alternate SOGI, which is alternate sexual and gender orientation, sexual and orientation and identification, and sexual and gender minorities. So this is obviously a very important topic. My other book is Beyond Hashtag Me Too, published by Sage and then republished by Atlantic Publishing. So
you had it like 2 editions of it.
Correct. Very minor changes, but the second edition is very close to the first. But that one is also available on Amazon, and obviously from the publisher's direct websites. That one is Gender Rights. That's non-fiction. That's the only non-fiction full manuscript I have written. It is a lot of statistics and a lot of social narration of what has happened before and after Me Too, and where things stand. And actually, interestingly, that book came out in 2022, but at that time,
at like 2018 was when Me Too gained momentum,
it was supposed to come out with Oxford at 2019, and then it was not leading to completion, so COVID hit, and then it was delayed.
That made us suffer a lot.
All of us. But the thing is that there in that book, I have a chapter on men's right movement, women and men's health, and then how women's empowerment, or like, gender parity is also going to cause higher social instability. So a lot of the things that are happening now, that book actually goes into in great detail. And then these days you will see in social media always comments about alimony and quote,
That's a very big social phenomenon going on.
Correct. And actually,
it has different perspectives.
the grievances on that are maybe valid in many cases.
Yeah.
Indian justice system is not perfect and probably very, very slow, one of the slowest ones that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And when you get stuck in that, to get a fair judgment often is problematic. That does not mean that dowry and alimony are the same things.
Exactly.
Both come with very different intentions and have to be
different
taken
nuances.
into the context of what is fair and what is not fair. One is not equivalent of other. A woman being a housewife or having been mitigated from actually Riti Chatterjee Ghosh, who you mentioned, was interviewed for Beyond #MeToo by me, and there she does go into this, that do you think alimony and maintenance are fair game? And her answer is very rightfully, it depends. It depends on, has the husband actively or through mutual agreement prevented or agreed to the wife not being able to earn for a certain number of years and not being able to get back to a certain stage of career while the wife was providing labor for the home.
For the home.
For the home. And it also depends on...
And it's such a pertinent issue. It not only is true for India, but all over the world, especially the Indian diaspora.
Globally,
everywhere.
India is struggling with that right now because it's a very deeply patriarchal, family-oriented society.
That was what I was about to say.
And there are many, when you say family-oriented, we have to remember that ideal Suraj Barjatia families, where everyone takes an equal load and is equally sacrificing, is probably 0%, right? So family orientation always takes sacrifices. But the question becomes, is there a generalization or is there a predominant onus on a certain gender versus another for sacrifices? Now, trust me, men have it very hard also. They, even in our society today, cannot choose to be a house husband as easily as women can say we want to be housewife.
The scenario is changing every
and
day.
They have a huge pressure. No way is working in corporate in very high pressure same as working in the home. No way. That is, many people say, oh, this is hard work too. Yes, hard work, but that's a whole different kind of pressure. So it's not that it is fair for men to be constantly brought up as caregivers and you have to do absolutely certain things, and they also have it very hard. So therefore the changing dynamics of gender affecting family equations in a country like India, where neither male or female have had counseling awareness.
That's a big gap.
How to take mutual accountability causes for a lot of problems. There are also cases where the laws are abused or misappropriated. I have a very passionate case of my uncle that I talked about in my own mind.
You referred to it before this conversation.
Despite that, I know the statistics of dowry deaths, domestic violence, and I know what is the need of the hour and what is fair and what is not fair, right? So anyways, we digressed, but Beyond #MeToo is on that, and the first one is from another land. It's again a short story collection.
Is it on immigration?
Immigration. It's very pertinent again, thanks to what's happening in the US again.
And have you put your own experiences and your perspectives?
I have. Like I said, both for Queer Chronicles and for From Another Land, both Readomania books. And in general, for every short story I write, they all have started somewhere in my life. Either it's a story I've heard or it's a story I've observed, not to the full. All of them come as like thought seeds, like, okay, I see people talking, I see things happening, I hear part of a story, then I built it in. And obviously in terms of immigration for From Another Land, it is a huge focus of that is acculturation. How much should one adopt to another country's culture? And is it really fair to say I don't have to adopt at all, right?
Because assimilation is also part of the game in a big way.
Correct. Now this is so complicated. So for example, for Europe today, there is a lot of discussion on the immigration that has happened there very heavily with European countries, and it's debatable whether they did it for the goodwill of taking in refugees or for needing labor. Got in a lot of folks from many different countries without proper plan to be able to assimilate and acculture them, right? So they are now overwhelmed. Paris is very different. Germany we hear, and there are a lot of anger regarding these things. I try to think from this perspective that it is not an easy answer. Because you might say that, listen, if I'm coming into a new place, I'm bringing my culture and my things with me, and we want to peacefully coexist. It's not a question of what's right or wrong here. That's beautiful to say. But think of your neighborhood where you said Dallas, like Frisco.
Yeah.
So say that there were white populations there, and suddenly every other house is an Indian household.
Yeah, that's difficult actually.
And you see
it's difficult.
completely different clothing that people are wearing, walking around. And you see festivals like, Ganesh Tet-a-tete and stuff happening.
Exactly, that's what is happening right now.
I know that's
it's
happening
crazy,
happening in many neighborhoods in Phoenix also. And suddenly, the what we say, like the quarters that quadrants that used to have a lot of other restaurants have dosa or biryani places, right?
Right.
Now think about this. This is not a right or wrong question. You stay in Kolkata, and the exactly same thing has happened to you with people coming from Bangladesh.
From Bangladesh and other countries like neighboring
or
countries.
take something, people coming from
or
Netherlands.
From drastically different countries.
Take any country where you will not have the additional subconscious, intersectional stereotyping or opposition.
That will be very difficult.
Think about
sure.
you stay in Barakpur and suddenly the 5 houses next to you are white people from Netherlands. Very nice people.
It will be very difficult
very nice
to
people, but they
assimilate.
don't celebrate any of your festivals. They want to keep to themselves. And they have bland houses, no color. What would the feeling be like?
Right.
So assimilation and acculturations are very complex problems. And a lot of the backlash that we see in this world with this rise of ultranationalism is in a way an inevitable side effect of globalization.
Yeah, exactly.
So it will get worse before it gets better. But to get to better, just like the men and women relationship in gender and marriages, there has to be a lot of awareness, sensitivity, patience, tolerance, and
awareness will bring sensitivity.
And most importantly, you have to find middle grounds. If you get triggered the moment I say, Lopa, listen, you should not do this kind of things when you are walking in Dallas, and you basically go, how dare I have my rights, right?
Exactly.
We have a problem. And
so that's where the middle ground comes
and
into
the same
picture.
way, if I am like, oh my God, you can never wear this, what kind of like, then also we have a problem. Because the world is not that anymore.
It's very diverse and very assimilated.
So that was from another land, and I'm glad you gave me chance to talk about each of these books in so much depth,
So before I wrap up, because we are almost at the end of this conversation, so what do you think about the future of short stories? Because novels and everything in literary fiction, long form fiction, we have heard a lot about it, that it's very popular. Then there is commercial fiction. What about short stories? What is your thought?
So this is just my complete guesswork. I'm not an expert on this. I think novels will only continue to be popular in the commercial genres. If it's something which is which can keep you at the edge of the...
Literary fiction, long form is suffering.
If you have written a novel and it's on commercial romance with some sex and high amount
erotica,
of thriller, then they will be popular.
Or even paranormal.
Right,
Ghost
because
is
if it's a flight read and you can just get to the edge of this. Other than that, people's patience with the social media and algorithms,
there's so
and
much of
AI,
information overload and
content and fast content will only be enough for short stories. So I think
that's true in a way.
It is a skill that writers will have to develop, where they can give the same kind of literary gem in short stories that they would need. They would need a novel for.
Maybe very short, crisp stories which can be finished in one go.
They have to be, the stories have to be, short stories always have a word count limit, right? But they have to be the same quality as a good literary novel with content. And it doesn't even have to be literary, it has to be engaging. It has to be a complete form of literature in its own. So that's what I think. And this is very uneducated guess from me probably.
No, that's a very pertinent answer. And to before we end, on a happy note, Tanushree has collaborated with me as a contributing author in one of my upcoming short story collections, which I curated along with 2 other editors, Amita Ray from Kolkata and Chaitali Sengupta from Netherlands. It's like the 3 of us coming together from different continents to curate and edit this collection of short stories on relationships and their She has a story. It's a very endearing short story. Venugopal has a cow, and I would request everyone to give it a read once the book comes out. On that note, congratulations, Tanushree, for the beautiful work that you're carrying out.
Thank you.
Congratulations for this Washington DC event, for which we both are here together as speakers. And here's to more future initiatives.
Absolutely.
And
more collaboration, more writing.
just let us
whatever
raise
form
a
we choose
toast to our writing and our literary activism. And
Absolutely.
stuff.
Thank you, Lopa. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. I hope you enjoyed the conversation, friends. Thanks.